What's up, guys? Welcome to Pod Castillo. Today's guest on the show, fan favorite, Jose. What's up, Jose? How are you?
What's up, man? How you doing, bro? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining the show. We've got a lot to talk about, man. It's been a while since I sat down and talked to you. The world of MMA right now is, I guess, up in the air. Obviously it's sold for $4 billion, and lately it's kind of like they're just making matchups that would make money instead of following their ranking system. Um, And I just want to hear your 2 cents on that. On that quickly. Like, do you think that that's good for business or bad for
Um,
business? GSP just came back. Some people say that they had no choice but to bring him back. There's no stars right now. Connor's not coming back. Rousey's not in the picture. So what do you think?
if it was the Fertitta still running it probably wouldn't be like great for business what they're doing right now. But it's the new owners. I think they're just trying to get their money back. They're trying to get that 4.2 mil back. A bill. I'm sorry, 4.2 billion back. So I mean they're booking some good fights, but like now a lot of the fights are like like you got Cub Swanson fighting Autumn Lobov, which is a top four featherweight fighting a guy that's not even ranked in the top 15, who has horrible all he can do is knock you out. Has no other
Yeah,
skills.
but some people would say that kind of worked out. Look what happened with Cody. Cody
Yeah,
wasn't top 10, I want to say. He's maybe 12, and then he beat the champ. So,
yeah, but you know what? He was on a roll. He was knocking everybody out. He has skills. He can box. He's very fast. Like he's entertaining. But Cody, like, I don't think he's gonna be a star. Like, yeah, he beat Dominic Cruz, the best bantamweight ever. I don't see him being like that next big guy, like that they can like book. Like, he doesn't speak well. All he ever talks about, like, oh yeah, bro, come at me, bro. Like, let's go, let's go.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he sounds like he's
They
really
have to they have to do a lot of public
yeah.
speaking training with
I
him.
mean, there's a lot of interesting characters. I
But
mean,
do you like that plan of business though? Or
I
as a
don't know.
fan, like even
No,
even so, for instance, when I look at the grand scheme of things, right? They're thinking about if they can't get GSP to fight Connor, they're thinking about maybe even doing GSP versus Anderson Silva. That
um,
would make that would make a lot of money now, I guess. But from a fan's perspective, it might be like
if
5 years
all right,
too late.
if they're gonna book GSP to fight, if they want to book him like against like sports, like an actual fighter like who's ranked in like good competition, Damian Maya. If
That'd be
this
a
is
good
gonna
fight.
be just for money, Anderson Silva or Nick Diaz, because if they do the Nick Diaz fight again, that's gonna be like that could be a headline of his own without even like a
No T
championship
Wood.
fight.
You don't think him
You,
and T Wood would?
um, I think, I think that would headline the fight. I think it would do all right, but like the
Because
thing
if I'm
is,
not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, he never lost that belt, right? Did he retire champion or
he
what?
retired champion. Yeah,
Okay.
he beat Johnny Hendricks, and after that, like he just said he was walking away. But
Yeah.
like recently, he like said that
He kind of beat Johnny Hendricks.
that was a very close fight. We watched that.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
watched that here years
yeah,
ago. But
yeah.
like it was. If anything, that fight should have probably been a draw. But a lot of people had Johnny winning. In my opinion, I think like GSP won because you gotta like really outclass the champion in the last 2 rounds. That like to prove your point. That's what happened. That's why there was a draw with Woodley and Wonder Boy. You really
Yeah.
gotta like put a stamp on it.
So speaking of that, obviously right now, Jose, in the world and especially in the U.S., there's a lot of racial tension, I guess you would say. And I don't really like getting involved in things like this because I kind of stay neutral. I kind of stay out of it, to be honest with you. But we can't help but talk about it when it comes in when it kind of carries over into sports, right? Tyron Woodley, who's the champion in what weight class right now?
Welterweight
What
170.
welterweight champion of the world in the UFC, has gone on the record. I mean, he's very outspoken. He's gone out and said, "Look at me. I'm a black guy. I'm an African American, and I'm the champion, and I don't get treated like the champion. These guys, every other champion here that's a white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes, they get promoted, and they promote them like crazy. And me being the champion, I don't get promoted as I should, and I think that has something to do with my race." Him saying that to me when I first saw that, I was like, wow, like why? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like some people get race involved in things that really have nothing to do with race. But in this situation, Jose, especially with 209 coming up this Saturday, I think I have to agree with him. I don't know if it has to do with this race though, but they are not promoting him and him being a champion and the cards that he's in the correct way.
They're not. I mean, there's a lot. There's like a lot of champs they're not promoting that well. I mean, look at Amanda Nunez. I mean, I feel like they're not really promoting her as much. But like,
But I
there's
think she kind of I think that what they did with her was smart. I think they didn't promote her much because she beat Rousey, and now you don't have to promote her.
Yeah,
Now she's the girl that beat Rousey,
yeah.
so it's free promotion. They didn't have to spend money on
But Woodley,
promoting
I
her.
think it came as a shock to what he said because like he's never really said anything like that. He's been a pretty quiet guy for the most part. He doesn't ever bring up things like that. But like you know, but also like I guess this is the proper moment for him. I feel like he thinks he needs to do that. He's a champion. He has a lot of cameras in front of him. He needs to say what he has to feel. I mean, if he feels that way, then I respect that. I mean, I definitely don't feel like he's being promoted that well. I mean, like look at John Jones. John Jones was like promoted as the guy like when he was because I mean, he was the biggest star in UFC. Then you had like Ronda Rousey. But they're not promoting him that right. I mean, even with DJ like Demetrius Johnson, they're not treating him like they're not promoting him that crazy either.
So is it safe to say that it may not be because of his race? It's just that I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking that there's too many weight divisions in UFC right now.
Well,
You think that could be the issue? Too
there's-
many champions now, dudes with interim belts, all this other nonsense.
Well,
I don't know.
that's completely different than what you're like. There's too many weight classes. They're looking to add weight classes and other like eventually they want to have it basically every 10 pounds. So like
Too much though. Too much belts. Too many belts.
well, it's about safety for the fighters. Like they're more people fighting at their actual weight. Like they're closer to their actual weight, so they're not cutting weight.
True.
But I think there's a perfect amount of weight class what they have now. I think they should add 125 into the women's division. But I don't know. I mean, I like Woodley. He's a great fighter. I think he should say whatever he wants to say, what he feels. But it sucks right now that he's kind of not getting really backed by any of the other like black champions because there's quite a few. You got
Demetrius
Johnson. I mean,
Daniel Cormier.
yeah, even if Jones is out of the spot, he can't really talk right now. But like there's some there's some people that could back him up. I feel like they're not. But all the power to him to saying what he's saying. I mean,
I think that I don't know. I think that dealing with him is a special type of situation. Like you said, he's always been some the kind of fighter that's like, I'm quiet. I just show up and fight. Put me in there with whoever, I'll fight. And I think that people really like that about him. When he came up, he beat Robbie real quick, and he became the champion. I think people really like that about him. But I think his true colors came out once he won the belt, and I think that's I think that's the issue because once he won the belt, then he started rubbing people the wrong way by saying, "That's it. I got the belt. I got the ticket. I got the golden ticket right now. I want a big fight. That's it. I'm here to make money." And I feel like I don't know. You kind of had that like workhorse mentality coming all the way up the ranks, and then when you get there, you kind of like are not gonna give that same chance that you were given to somebody. Now you want to fight somebody else, whether it's a different weight class to make a super fight. When in reality, he worked his way up. That's how he got his chance. His chance, the good old fashioned way.
Well, he actually started to me, he started rubbing people the wrong way. Back when he had a fight booked with Johnny Hendricks, and Johnny Hendricks had to pull out because he got like kidney stones or something like that because he had a tough weight cut. And he made weight everything whatever. And Dana promised him a title fight after that, but that was like 3 years. That was like 2 years ago. And a lot of things happened since then. And he really wanted to. He did not take another fight until then, and that bothered me because like okay you can't. I don't like when people like sit out. Like, okay, listen, I was promised a title shot, so I'm not gonna fight.
I don't know.
Like, I don't really like that. I mean,
I don't know if I agree with you there though.
Because I still feel like he could have fought.
It's not like boxing though. It's not. It's if it were boxing, I would say that because in boxing, I could stay active all the time. You could fight somebody that's just coming up. I mean, look at the fighters how they do it now. If they're not fighting a big guy, they fight all these no names and they still get paid. In UFC, in mixed martial arts, anything can happen, dude. So I don't think that you can take a gimme fight there.
The thing is, that fight right there, that was supposed to be the fight that like got him into real contendership. Because Johnny Hendricks was still ranked like top 5 at the time. Woodley was ranked top 5 also, but his last win was against someone like was Kevin Gastelum, and he was ranked top 10, but like really he fought him and he missed weight by like 10 pounds, like, and he just outclassed him. Like, it wasn't like a really great fight. Like that was his last great fight was probably Josh Koscheck when he knocked him out, and that was like years ago.
Who's great? Woodley?
I'm talking about before he got the title shot.
Because I was gonna say that Lawler fight was good.
No, obviously, yeah, but like he proved himself with the Lawler fight, obviously. But he's always got that power. But like, yeah, I didn't like that. I'm not really big fan of people saying, like, "Oh, well, I'm not fighting." Like, I don't like, like.
Nah, I get that. I respect it.
Like Aldo said he wasn't gonna fight until Conor. Then then he fought Frankie Edgar at 200. Like,
I respect your decision because you're a hardcore fan wants to see fighters fight. Who wants to see people sit on the bench? But I kind of always look at things from both sides. Obviously, I'm a fan, but I also think about the business too. And there's no gimme fight in the business in mixed martial arts. No. You could lose at any night to any person. With those small gloves, man, all it takes is one punch or one kick, whatever the case is. So, obviously, we got into a little bit of Tyron Woodley talk. This weekend is UFC 209, like I mentioned before. And there's a lot of big storylines here. It hasn't been promoted the way it should be. But when you sit down and look at the card, it's a great card, in my opinion. We start the night off with Mark Hunt against Alistair Overeem in a heavyweight showdown.
That's the first fight on the pay-per-view, yeah.
Obviously, there's a bit of a backstory there. Yeah. Mark Hunt at UFC 200 was put in the ring, in the octagon against Brock Lesnar. I don't know. So many conspiracy theories. People say that UFC obviously knew that Brock Lesnar's taking steroids because he's in WWE and he's a freak of nature. So they gave him a kind of an exemption on the testing. Whole thing.
That was very shady.
After the fight, obviously Brock Lesnar tested positive for steroids. He beat up Mark Hunt pretty bad. And let's face it. I mean, Brock Lesnar walked away from the sport with $2 million.
$2.5
million. So there's a big beef brewing there. Mark Hunt is suing the UFC. What do you think about that? Yeah, what do you think about all that? He wants Brock's purse. What do you think about all that?
Well, he's old. I feel like honestly he's owed Brock's purse. He should be given half his purse, or what is it when a fighter misses weight? I think they give him a third of the.
I think it might be like 25%, a quarter of it. Yeah,
give him that. You know what? Because that's a lot of money. Give him $500,000. He'll be happy with that.
I just realistically though. And this is crazy. You think they put him in there? You think they put him in there knowing this dude's on roids?
Not being a conspiracy theorist, whatever. I think they knew damn well. Listen, we need to listen. Conor Diaz isn't fighting. John Jones is out now. Or actually, no. Actually, no. That was before that. I'm sorry. No, that was before. Before
that Jones fight.
It was Conor Diaz. They like not to fight. Damn, this card's not that great. DC and John Jones obviously that sells it, but everything else is kind of eh. So they needed to put it over the top, and they got Brock because really they knew they were gonna sell the company, and they're just trying to like
juice it. Yeah, juice it. Juice
is a good term.
Yeah. No pun intended.
Yeah, because like even when Mark said he's like, I know he's gonna be juiced to the gills, and you know what, he was right. I mean,
I can't believe that.
And he felt like two different types of tests. So like he was on mad stuff.
So but, so now the way the business works, obviously, in my opinion, unfair.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not fighting again. I'm suing you guys. I'm not fighting again until you guys give me that Brock Lesnar money, that purse.
Or he said he wants to get cut.
And he's under contract. So, I mean, the guy has to fight in order to make money. So he's fighting Alistair Overeem. Overeem obviously lost his last fight against the champion, Stipe, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good fight. I think Overeem could have won that if he would have tried to pull
No, if he went for the choke, he should have went to KO him. Like he should have just went to knock him out.
Oh yeah, true. I think he was on his back, right? This guy was like he might have been on his butt, but then
knocked him down, had him on his back, and he went for a choke. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, he should have tried to ground upon him. So who do you have in that fight? Mark Hunt versus Alistair Overeem.
It's a toss up because it's a great.
Mark Hunt got that one hitter quitter. We can't forget about that.
Well, I mean, you got Alistair Overeem, who's like K1 Grand Prix champion, man. He's been doing kickboxing for years. He's probably the best striker in the heavyweight division. It could go either way. I mean, I don't know. Like I'm gonna go with Overeem because I feel like he's more polished as a fighter. But then again, Mark Hunt used to fight in K1 too. He used to be a kickboxer too.
Yeah,
I think he's a little short and stumpy, whatever. But
and usually I really like Alistair. But when I sit and I think about it, I feel like he might have been using steroids too, because his body's changed dramatically. Well, they used to call him, they call him Ubereem now. That was the old Overeem.
Yeah.
So in that fight, I'm gonna go Mark Hunt on that. I think he has a lot of chip on it. He has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove these guys wrong on what they did to him. So I gotta go with Mark Hunt in that fight.
Listen, it's a good choice because Overeem's been knocked out a lot recently, and his chin.
Yeah, this
Doesn't
dude got a
seem
one
like
hit quitter, man.
doesn't seem like he can take punch anymore. I mean, it's like the last couple of years. I mean, he went on a great run, but like before that, he was getting KO'd freaking left and right. Um,
What else is on there?
the next fight after that is
There's a fight on there between two young guys or up and coming
Yeah,
guys. I'm not too familiar. I have to be honest. I'm not too familiar with that. So let me hear some
Groovy
background.
Venata and David Tamir. I think Tamir is on the Ultimate
What weight
Fighter.
class, first of all?
This is 155.
155. Okay.
Yeah. Tamir, I think he's to fight in the Ultimate Fighter. Like I've seen a couple of his fights. He's alright. He's like still up and comer. Lando Venata is a great. He fights at Jackson Link with like John Jones and all those guys. His movement's awesome. He's like very like flowy. His last fight was he had a spinning wheel kick knockout of John McDessie. It was amazing. I think he got 50K for that knockout.
50K.
And I was on the Fight Pass. I think that was the second fight of the night on the Fight Pass. They're like high on him. They like him. He was undefeated. His first fight in the UFC was against Tony Ferguson, who's fighting for the lightweight title now with light interim belt. And he hurt Tony a couple times. He almost knocked him out.
That says a lot because Tony's legit.
Tony at that time was ranked number 3. He was already on his way to the title.
So what, he heard him standing up? He heard him with a punch or something?
Yeah, he hurt him a couple times. He knocked him down like twice. It was a great fight until then. Like in this, but the thing is, like, it was on short days. Like it was like
short notice,
like a week notice, whatever. It was I guess he maybe gassed himself out, but then Tony came into his own and like started tagging him, and then in the second round he knocked him down and then put him in a Darce choke. I mean, which is Tony is known for. So I mean, that's his bread and butter right there. He gets in the ground, he gets his arms around you.
We're definitely gonna talk about Tony in a bit. So that second fight between those guys, that's
a good fight.
It's something I guess I'm looking forward to. Like I said, I have to be honest. I don't really know the background of the two guys, but they're on the main card for a reason. I'm guessing. They may be fan favorites or whatever the case is. They're young guys on the way up. They're hungry, so I'm sure we'll learn a lot that day, and we'll see hopefully a great fight. Next up, I think Rashad's fighting, right? Sugar Rashad
and Daniel Kelly.
So I'm not sure about Daniel Kelly either, to be honest with you. What weight are they fighting at?
This is 185. This
185.
Is Rashad Evans' first fight at 185. He's cutting down from 205 to.
I have to be honest with you, Rashad's. When I first started watching UFC, I kind of gravitated towards Rashad. So I have like a special connection when it comes to Rashad in the sense of I'm really a big fan of his. I know he was undefeated for some time, and I feel like he's one of those guys that fought the best always. I know he fought Machida, he fought John Jones, and it's crazy because we see John Jones as this like maybe the GOAT, right? Maybe the GOAT in the octagon. Obviously, out of the octagon, made plenty of mistakes. John Jones only gets his shot because Rashad Evans gets hurt, right? Is that like the myth, the urban legend?
I think that's how it happened.
I think Rashad Evans was supposed to fight, got injured. John Jones, who was his training partner, stepped in for him, and then the rest is history. So in that fight, even if I don't get to know much background on Mr. Kelly, Daniel Kelly, I'm going to go with Rashad. I know he's getting up there in age and things have changed and he's been injured lately. I'm going with Rashad.
That's fine because I mean, Daniel Kelly is about I think he's like 40. So he's
40 years old. Okay.
So it's kind of funny. They go from like two young guys fighting. Then you got two older dudes who literally they call the one guy Dad Bod or whatever. So I mean it's perfect.
Got a dad bod.
I mean because he's a Olympic Australian judokan. I think that's how you say it. But
Dude.
It's an interesting fight. I mean, I said it's Rashad Evans' first fight at middleweight. He hasn't fought in a while because he was denied fighting licenses in Toronto and in
For what reasons?
I think it was a head scan. There was something they noticed kind of
suspect. Like
so they wouldn't okay him to fight. I know New York is very strict. But he got okayed now. I mean, he seems fine. I think he went and got everything checked out. I mean, I guess there's nothing like crazy too serious. But he looks great. I mean, I saw the first picture when he initially cut it down to 185.
Yeah, he looked great. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say what's gonna happen in this fight because Rashad it looked pretty bad his last two fights. He got knocked out, and I think both of them in the first round. it's I don't know. I
I
mean,
think he gets out of here with a dub.
yeah, I mean, if his hands look good, if he's throwing good, I mean, if he's like old Rashad, then yeah, I mean, maybe the new weight class will be good for him. But I would probably go with Evans too. I mean, just cause. I
I
mean,
think it's a safe pick, to be honest with you.
yeah.
Even if I don't really know much about Daniel Kelly, I think it's a safe pick.
Oh, dude's 12-1, so I mean, that's not a bad record. So
Now to what people really care about, why we're gonna spend money on his fight, right?
yes, big time fight.
This next fight that's going, the co-main event of the evening on Saturday, UFC 209, is a fight that has very in basketball or in football you would use the word playoff inclinations, right? Something like that, right? This is a big fight. Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Nurmagomedov. You see, I got this. What can I say, man? This is literally 1 versus 2 here, and this is on paper when you think about it, it's a toss up. These guys are both on a tear, running through the UFC, and they're doing it like I said before, the old fashioned way. I don't care what this dude's name is. I don't care what he's about. If I gotta fight him, then I'll fight him. And they're running through everyone. So they're on a collision course, and on Saturday they're gonna crash, and we're gonna see who's the better man. Obviously, the champion at 155 right now is Conor McGregor, and this fight's at 155, correct?
155.
So this is for an interim belt, and the winner will be the interim champion, and all signs point to will fight against Conor McGregor unless the boxing thing with Floyd works out. So, what do you think? Who do you have? Tony Ferguson or Khabib?
This is the hardest fight to pick on the card. I mean, in my opinion, because I mean, you got Khabib's literally 25-0, never lost a fight
in mixed martial,
never
in his
lost
mixed
a
martial arts
round.
career. Crazy.
Then you have Tony Ferguson, who's 9-0 in his last fights. He hasn't lost in since he got to the UFC.
And they're not winning close fights either,
no,
bro.
they're dominating these fights, man. I mean, Ferguson's last fight was against RDA, who was when he beat Pettis. They're like, oh man, this dude's unstoppable.
Yeah, this dude was a
then he knocked out Cerrone. I was like, oh my god, like.
Then Khabib's last fight was against Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
And if you guys really are into UFC, I'm sure you guys seen the videos everywhere. He's literally pounding on Michael Johnson and talking to Dana White that's sitting in the first row, saying,
like, "Where's your boy?
Where's your boy? I'm gonna get your
chicken?
boy. Yeah,
Get
your
your
boy's
chicken."
next." And he's pounding on Michael Johnson, telling them, "Dude, just give up. Like this has nothing to do with you. I need that belt.
I don't
give
want to
up.
hurt you. I need to fight for the belt. It's my time."
That's crazy, dude. We're talking about Michael Johnson's no pushover. I believe at that time he was ranked number 6 in the division.
Yeah, and he just came off a big knockout of Dustin Poirier. He starched him.
He's pounding him, talking to him calmly, has the wits about him to look in the crowd, see Dana, and just have a conversation with Dana.
Dude, and even with the new rules where they're allowing 10, they want more 10-8s.
Yes.
And those are the old rules. That fight, if they scored it, they had to be all 10-8s because he was literally like he would throw him to the ground basically and just stay on top of him and just maul him.
So in this fight, how do you see it going? You think they're gonna stand? Do you think Khabib's gonna go for the early takedown? What do you think?
I don't think they're gonna stand
because I think their games are a little bit different. Their game plans are respectively. They've done work the last few years in the UFC. I think their games are a little different. I think Khabib on the ground, he's a monster, he's a beast. But I think Ferguson standing up, he's unorthodox. He's got the kicks, he mixes it with the strikes, and he's good with the chokes. So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think Tony's probably the more polished fighter.
Okay.
Because he can do everything. He can work. He's a I think he was a college wrestler. So he has the ground base. Obviously he has jiu-jitsu with all the chokes he's had out. And he has a striking advantage on him. And he also, not just because he's a better striker, he has a longer reach. I think he's a 78-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, I can see that too because he
the reach
seems
advantage,
like
I think it's like 6 or 5 inches. I mean, I don't know, but it's tough. I mean, Khabib he got rocked. He got touched up a little bit in the Michael Johnson fight. Like it didn't look like he was wobbling or anything like that, but like he got hit and then he boom, takedown.
Straight takedown.
And then after that, the fight was over basically. I don't know if that can same thing can happen with Tony because I mean I think Tony's a little more trickier on the ground. I'm going for Khabib to win because I want to see him win. I love Khabib. I think he's awesome.
I think he's a fan. He's becoming a fan favorite
Yeah.
too, like a hardcore fan favorite.
Yeah, dude. I listen. His fans are nuts. 'Cause,
Mainstream hasn't hit yet. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Khabib's a very witty character, I guess people would say.
he's fun.
He wears this big wig. Usually after his wins, he's getting interviewed by Joe Rogan. He puts it on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is really fun about it. Shout out to Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan Experience podcast. Check that out if you guys are into that. It's an awesome show. So I think that, and we had a brief conversation about this, Jose. I love Khabib. I want him to win too. I think he's going to win, and I really want to see him win because I want to see him shut. I want to see Conor McGregor face him, but Khabib has not hit mainstream America yet. I don't think he's a household name yet, and I think that with the WME buying the UFC, I think that he's the one that kind of takes the biggest loss in this, and he's going to be the first victim of them winning, of them buying this company for so much and having to put money fights on the table. Now, if he becomes the interim champ, he forces their hand. You know what I'm saying? I've got a belt now. I got gold now.
Well,
I gotta fight Conor.
I think if anything, they probably need him to fight.
Okay.
Need him to win. So that if anything, that sets up a fight with Conor.
Yeah, I don't think the Tony Ferguson fight would sell that good.
Tony is probably like the fight with Tony against Conor would probably be awesome because they're both great strikers. And that'll be the one time probably where Conor's not the bigger guy, not the like the longer reach or anything like that, because he's always a taller, longer guy. Tony is 5'11", Conor's 5'9". He's got 78-inch reach. Conor's got a 70, I think it's 75 or 74,
which is crazy for this guy, man.
Yeah,
Conor has like the perfect body, dude.
Yeah,
this guy could go any weight class, bro. Literally any weight class.
Yeah, that would be like, just on paper, a fight would be awesome, but for pay-per-view wise, it won't sell because people won't. I don't think people will back Tony.
Tony's Mexican, right?
He grew up in America, but yeah, he's Mexican, yeah.
And I don't think the Mexicans come out as much for UFC as they do for boxing. Obviously,
they're starting to with Yair Rodriguez, who's born and raised in
he just beat
Mexico.
BJ, right?
Yeah.
BJ Penn.
So,
but usually the Mexican fan base for boxing is enormous. I mean, it's that's why there's always a big fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend, and obviously they love their Canelo. They Mexican people really treat their fighters good. Now I'm curious to see if they would come out for Tony Ferguson. So imagine it would be Tony Ferguson against Conor McGregor. The Irish guys are ridiculous. They're crazy.
Listen, they'll go anywhere. If it's in Alaska, the fight, they'll go to
Alaska. But like, I could kind of see that being a little bit cool. Like, the Irishmen going behind Conor, and then the Mexican fans going behind Tony.
There's been Mexican boxers fighting Irish boxers. That would be awesome. But obviously, it's different with UFC.
It's a little bit different. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I think that globally, like Conor versus Khabib. Is a huge fight because Russia's a huge country.
Yeah, I think people forget about that. They lose sight of that.
He said he was talking about you have a million Irish. I have 5 million Russians. Like all this crazy crap. Like he's
got a lot of people in this country.
Listen, he is the biggest star in Russia. They love him. He can do probably whatever he wants in Russia.
And when we're talking about numbers, dude, you can't deny 24, 25-0. You can't deny that.
No.
There's no way you could deny that. He might not be the biggest name. He might not have the nicest look. He might not, be the most handsome guy. He might not speak the best English, but you can't deny numbers, dude. And the guy's record is ridiculous. Yeah. 25-0 or 24-0, whatever the case is. And he could possibly be a champion Saturday night. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure if I got your prediction on that. I got Khabib.
I'm rooting for Khabib. Okay. It's hard for me to pick.
You're a little torn on it.
I'm gonna go with Khabib.
How does it go down? Does it go all 5?
I'd like it to. That'd be awesome.
Scrap. That's gonna be a scrappy fight, man.
I'll say 4th round.
4th round. How?
Just ground and pound KO and like TKO. I guess that's what I gotta go with.
I'm going to say.
That's even if I'm not gonna shortchange Tony because he went 5 rounds with RDA at in Mexico City, which is very high altitude. It was a great fight. So I'm not gonna seriously say he's gonna get put out in the 2nd round or 1st round, but I definitely think he's gonna go in the 4th or 5th round.
I think it's gonna be a scrap, man. I think that fight's gonna steal the night. I think that people that bought the fight, bought the card, that they're gonna get their money's worth because of the backstory of that fight and because of the outcome of that fight. I think that Khabib, it's gonna go all 5. I think it's gonna be very scrappy. I think Khabib's gonna be on him, but I also think that when they are standing up, I think Tony's gonna get to him. But on the grand scheme of things, I think that Khabib's gonna spend a lot of time up on top, and he's gonna win by decision. I think it's gonna be a unanimous decision for Khabib. But I don't think he finishes Tony, and I don't see Tony winning. So I've got Khabib unanimous decision.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just it's. I don't know. I mean,
It's a toss up, dude.
it's
And
really
listen,
hard.
at the end of the day, and I feel like I say this every time because the reason that we do the show is like because most of we're fans of the sport, and we're not afraid to tell people that we're fans of it. This is the typical fight, and I say this a lot on the show that we win. We win as fans.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Whoever wins, if Tony wins, we still win because it's the best fighting the best, not these people that have big names and then they get to cherry pick whoever they want to fight. No, this is literally number 1 fighting number 2. And if Tony knocks him out in the first round, dude, we still win as fans because we know that they were the 2 best fighters. You know what I'm saying? So as a fan, I can't complain. With all the nonsense and the political stuff going on in the world of UFC where people are picking fights, this kind of is like our little Christmas gift, where it's like, here, you guys can have this fight for the hardcore
Yeah.
fans. Here,
That's what it is.
take this old
It
school
is-
fight.
It is that type of fight. I mean, and I feel like the main event too, though, is like
So, yeah,
this
let's
is
get
a
to the main
fan fight
event.
also. I mean,
First fight,
Listen,
talk about the first fight.
that-
Well, first introduce fighters. Introduce fighters.
it was it's for the welterweight title. It's Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Tyron Woodley, who's the champion right now. Woodley felt like he won that fight last time.
How'd it go? Let us know.
It was a great fight. I mean, listen, it was crazy. The first round, you had it started off a little slow, and then Woodley
Put
took
him down. I
took
think
him he took him to the ground, and then he just started going, throwing elbows, hitting him. Then the second round, Wonderboy came out a little bit, like he started kicking him, hitting him a little bit, but it still wasn't crazy. I know I had Wonderboy winning 2, 4, and 5. But no, 2, 3, and 5. And then in the third round, that's when Wonderboy again he started looking good again. And then the fourth round came, and then that's where Woodley he hit him with that big right hand that
Put
he
him down.
has, put him down, and like I do not know how the hell Wonderboy did not like first of all get knocked out from getting hit like that. Then Woodley put him in a guillotine. And he had
it
on
was
tight.
deep. It was deep.
tight.
Yeah, it was
like
it.
you saw every vein, every arm, his
Yeah,
muscle
yeah.
just choking the hell
And
out of him.
this guy withstood that.
Then stood there, he's chilling, he's like, I'm good, and his head popped out. And then you could tell Woodley was a little gas after that, and then Wonderboy ended up finishing that round on top. Like he was ground and pounding Woodley. But
Then a big moment in the fight was the decision.
yeah.
Judges get together, they compare their cards, they tally the numbers, and obviously it's a very close fight. We're all watching the fight. It's a close fight. People watching at home, people that are watching in the building, the judges, it's a close fight. The fighters know it was a close fight.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and I guess it's not just us. I think it's everywhere in the world of fighting. You get nervous when it's in the judges' hands. You get nervous.
Yeah, because
So-
they mess it up.
So the judges, they conference, they come out. Woodley is announced the winner. He's happy. He gets his belt, right? I'm trying to paint a picture for the people.
yeah.
He gets his belt.
Well,
Then
but the way they say it, though,
I know.
they say winner by majority draw. They said
Yeah.
they did say winner. It was
yeah.
majority by and still
No. I don't think it went like that. I think it was majority decision at first.
no, they said draw. They
They
did say
did?
draw, and they missed it. I watched it because I watched the fight over again, and they missed it.
So
But the
so-
thing is, I think it was on the card. They still had Woodley
So
announced the
I'm
winner.
gonna paint the picture for the people. Let me
Yeah.
paint the picture for the people. So Woodley's standing there. He's got his belt on. He was just in a war. He was just in a battle. So his wherewithal is not all there either. Then all of a sudden they start calling him back. They're like, wait a minute, hold on, come back. Something's up with the cards. Hold on, come back. He doesn't want to go back.
No,
He's like, no.
holding
He's
the-
like, no, I got my belt.
No.
No, I'm not, because he's thinking, damn, I might have lost this fight. They're trying to take the belt from me. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? So they're in the octagon. People are running around. Dana White doesn't know what's going on. The judges are trying to tally up the numbers, make sure everything's correct. Long story short, it's a majority draw. It's a draw, right? He keeps the belt, obviously, but leaves a bad taste
Yeah.
in the mouth of the fans.
Just the way his hand got raised the second time, it was he got arm raised and he just had his head down. He looked just like so disappointed,
But
because it wasn't a win.
so fans were disappointed because it was such a good fight that we want to see a clear cut winner. But I'm sure the fighters were disappointed. And to be honest with you, I have to be very honest with you. At that point in time, he still has his belt. He could fight whoever, man. He
Yeah,
could
he
fight whoever.
could've-
He's the champion. But I know that deep down, he knew that Wonder Boy took him to the edge, dude. Where as a fighter, he's like, we got to run that back. We have to go again. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
And I can respect that. I really respect that.
Well, he wasn't going on for months, since the fight, saying he's like, I won the fight. It don't matter. Wonder Boy knew he lost the fight. I won the fight. But you listen, you could feel or say whatever you want, but that what it comes out as, it's a draw.
It's a draw. Yeah.
You didn't
You
beat
didn't
him.
win the fight.
You didn't beat him, nor did he beat you.
Yeah.
It was a draw. You guys,
That's
yeah, it.
You guys got to
the
go
only
again.
thing to do is to run it back.
Yep.
Okay, you can't let that fight don't count anymore. It's it. It's
So-
nothing. You got to run that back.
So now the rematch is here. Saturday, UFC 209. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Tyron Woodley. What I want you to do, Jose, is let's talk styles real quick. I'll go over T Wood. T Wood is a physical freak in that weight class. I mean,
It's huge.
his body
It's
is
huge.
ridiculous. He just kind of postures over the other fighters because he's just a very chiseled guy. He's just a really big guy.
Not even taller.
He's just dude. He's got his core is ridiculous. It's like crazy. So he's a powerhouse guy.
Yeah.
He used to wrestle at Missouri, I want to say.
Because that's who he's
He's
from.
from Ferguson, so he's
Yeah.
a tough guy. Like I said, his upbringing wasn't the easiest. He's had a rough life. He's stating that in racial tensions in Ferguson in the Midwest. So
But
he kind of lived a street life, and he's a rough guy, So in the UFC, I mean, he's known as a powerhouse. He wants to take you down and finish you ground and pound. The way he won that belt was defeating somebody that was known as a workhorse in Robbie Lawler, and he took him down and he pounded him out.
It's not
Now-
down. It's one big right
I know,
hand.
yeah, and he
That's it.
pounded him out. So that's his style. His style is brutal. His style is straight punishment. So what about Wonder Boy? What do you think about Wonder Boy?
Wonder Boy is a straight striker. It's it. He's
Unorthodox.
yes, very, because
Woo!
he's it's, I won't say karate style, but he's a
Kind
very
of.
he has a very wide base.
Yeah.
He's very sideways when he fights. He throws a lot of kicks, a lot of flashy kicks.
And I
not
don't
just-
think he gets he doesn't get he doesn't stress out in there. He kind of
No,
stays
he's
calm,
he's
very level headed.
He's very easy on his feet. He bounces around. He's like he doesn't get hit a lot. That's why it's crazy to see him get hit with that big right hand by Woodley.
He showed he
um,
could take a hit and bounce
that was a
back.
very big fight. I think what happened in that first fight, and he said himself that he was a little tentative to throw his strikes because he was worried about getting taken down. And he said that going into his next fight, that's not going to happen. He's like, I already know what he's going to do, what he's going to do, and I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to throw my kicks, I'm going to throw my strikes, and I'm going to try to end it. I mean, listen, I've watched all of his fights since he's been in the UFC, and they've been, I think, only one. He lost one fight, and since then he's won them all, and they've all been finishes, except for the Roy McDonald fight. Dude, like if his kicking is on point, I mean, there's no way you're gonna win. I mean, when he did Johnny Hendricks in the first round, he just destroyed him. He was just kicking the hell out of him.
No, and
Like,
Johnny's my
and
guy
the
too,
thing is,
man.
it's
Don't remind me about that fight.
It's so quick. He's so quick and so like you can't tell he's gonna throw the kick. There's no show to it. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely gonna have to work. He's got to make sure that he doesn't get taken down. But if
Yeah.
it stays on the feet the whole time, I definitely think it's his fight to win. Do I think he?
But I
finishes
want to
him?
hear no. I don't want to hear you definitely think it's his fight to win. I want a prediction right now.
Okay.
First fight, instant classic.
Yeah.
Finished in a majority
That's the fight of
draw.
the night. It took
Two
50
different styles coming together. And
striker
really the
versus
number one and
grappler.
number two fighter in that division. Obviously, he was the best against the best there.
Yeah.
Majority draw. Second fight, they got to run it back. Who do you have winning and how?
I got Wonder Boy. I do think he's gonna finish him this time. I think it's
Standing up or what? Knockout
yeah,
or
it's gonna be a standing up. I think.
could you imagine spinning back kick or something like that?
Dude, like that's
Because
how
this guy comes in, it's perfect style.
That's how he finished Jake Ellenberger.
It's the perfect style to do that because Woodley does rush in. You know what I mean?
Like I said,
If the timing is right, dude.
Listen, Woodley, he's striking. It's all leg kicks, which he's not gonna throw leg kicks probably against someone who's gonna throw the high leg kicks.
Yeah.
And he's right hand. That's what he does. He puts you out with that right hand. He put out Robbie. He put out Josh Koscheck with that right hand. You don't want to get hit with that.
Oh, it's interesting. So when do you see it ending early or?
I don't see it ending early. I think the first round is they're gonna fight each other. So like I know Woodley said in the first fight that his game plan was to stay on the fence and kind of have Wonder Boy coming in at him. But I've watched some of Woodley's old fights, and it's actually something he does a lot. He did that with Robbie.
Kind of like baits him in.
Yeah, baits him in. And like so like oh man, like whatever. That's what he did with Koscheck. Like he had hit Koscheck, had him coming in on him all the time and like kept rocking him. And then that's how he eventually finished the fight by putting him out with a right hand.
I'm interested, dude. It's interesting that you got that Wonder Boy winning. That's interesting to me.
I listen because I like Wonder Boy. GSP just said he's the best striker he's ever seen.
That's big coming from GSP.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm not just saying this because it's not like I don't like Woodley. I think Woodley's awesome. I just think that I feel like Woodley's gonna go in there a little bit more tentative. I know he's saying that he's gonna go in there. He's gonna go there and finish him. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think if he wins, I think it's gonna be by decision because I don't think Wonder Boy's gonna let him hit him with that right hand again. I think he knows what's gonna come. I think it's easier to kind of like a game plan for Woodley than it is for Wonder Boy because when you're going against someone who throws a lot of kicks, okay, you just know they're gonna kick. You can't just throw. Oh yeah, I know he's gonna throw the spinning back kick all the time.
This is perfect.
But like it's someone who's mostly leg kicks. Woodley likes to kick legs.
Yep.
That's what I mean by leg kicks. And he likes to throw that big heavy right hand, and then he likes to take people down. So you gotta. And the thing is, Wonder Boy likes to fight.
I think the distance is key in this fight.
That's what I was just getting into. He likes to fight from a distance, so it's not a lot of close up. So if they're fighting at a distance, then you know what? Woodley's at a disadvantage because Wonder Boy is a taller, longer guy, and his legs are he's all legs. I think his freaking thighs come to like right here. So I mean, I have Wonder Boy winning. I think he's gonna I think he's gonna probably go to the third or fourth round. I do think he can finish him.
So that's interesting to me. I'm very I'm a little bit happy that you're going for Wonder Boy because I'm actually going for Tyron Woodley, and I think he's gonna make him look bad this fight, man. Yeah. I think he kind of exposed Wonder Boy, but at the same time, Wonder Boy kind of showed the world that he's about it. He deserves to be there.
I think he showed how tough he was in that first fight.
Yeah, but his power, this guy felt Woodley's power, bro.
Listen.
So like if the fight would have went a little differently, maybe I would have went for Wonder Boy. If I knew that Woodley was hitting him and it wasn't really affecting him or he was dodging the strikes, I probably would have went for Wonder Boy because on paper and when you look at the styles, Wonder Boy's style is unorthodox, is something that Woodley has never seen before, and it plays perfect into that type of fight. But Woodley put him down, bro, and he almost had him.
He did
a few times. He almost had him out of there.
He was rocking him, so he almost had us finished. Yeah.
So because of that, I gotta go with Woodley, and I'm telling you, Jose, I would say second round. I would say second round. Right. You say that they're gonna feel each other out the first round. I don't think so. I think that right from that bell, Woodley has a lot to prove in this fight. He has a lot to prove because he opened his mouth when he won that belt and started thinking that he could call shots, and then look at what happens. Their first defense, you have a draw. You know what I mean? I think he really means that. I think he really means that, and he wouldn't be calling people out if he didn't think he could contend with them.
No,
I think this fight he's gonna show I'm gonna show you guys. You guys don't want to respect me as the champion, fine. I'm gonna make you respect me.
He definitely
and I think that's what he's gonna do this fight,
man. Listen,
I think he's gonna do that this fight. Second round, dude, KO. It's gonna be by strikes on the ground.
He definitely deserves a lot more respect than he's getting. I feel like, dude, he knocked out Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler's a freaking
tough as nails,
dude. The Rory McDonald fight,
Classic
was
fight, dude. This dude's Roy's nose was hanging out by a thread, dude.
Yeah, and his lip and
And
Robbie's
oh
lip.
my
Robbie's lip was
gosh,
off.
that lip
Like,
was
come on.
crazy.
So I mean, people saying like like whatever he got lucky winning the belt. No, listen, you knock somebody out, you knock him out. There's no luck.
And even before Robbie though, he was working his way up the ranks.
Yeah,
like I said before, there's no luck in that.
I had him eventually getting a title shot, but like I just didn't like the whole thing. Okay, well I'm not fighting until I get my title shot. I don't like that. But I guess I guess I'm kind of signing off that because I think Damian Maia deserves a title shot too. But I would like to see if they book GSP to fight, I would like to see Damian Maia versus GSP.
That'd be a good fight. That'd be a good fight.
Because I mean that would be but the thing I'll tell you what, it's gonna probably be a boring fight because Maia he's not the best known as a striker. He's a world class jiu-jitsu guy. So, and then you got GSP who's a great wrestler. He's great at everything, but he's great on the ground. He likes to grit people out. So I mean. That's how I think that fight would go. But Woodley has the right to call out whoever wants to fight. So, I mean, if he wants to fight Bisping, he wants to fight Nick Diaz, whatever, it's all legacy fights. That's what he's been saying. So, yep. I mean, I respect that. But the thing is, you don't earn that right until you defend your belt. So, like, I don't think Conor has the right to, like, when he ever picks a fight and fight the UFC, he does not have the right to pick out, oh, well, I'm going to fight Nate again, which I probably think that's probably going to be the fight to happen anyway.
It has to happen, by the way. It has to happen.
He definitely has
and
to
I don't see him winning that fight either.
But
that's a different story. That's a different show.
Nate was offered a fight. He turned it down.
With Conor, though?
No, he's offered a fight with Eddie Alvarez.
I wouldn't take it. Dude, this is the perfect example, Jose. I wouldn't take it.
Why not? He's the former champion.
Because
he's ranked number 1 in the
doesn't matter, Jose. If I'm Nick Diaz and I lose to Eddie Alvarez, then then my third fight with Conor loses steam, bro. I really feel like Nick, in some people's eyes, maybe mine as well, I think he won both fights against Conor. I think so. So if I beat this guy, if I beat your cash cow already twice, I'm not fighting again till you bring him to me again, because if I take a loss, I'm putting a lot on the line by fighting anyone in the UFC, anyone in the company. You can lose to anyone. I'm putting too much on the line. There's no risk reward, and a third fight would be incredible, bro. We're talking about boxing numbers on a third fight.
I definitely think it would beat the all-time record,
dude. Without a doubt,
I think already
their second fight. Yeah, without a doubt, it would break every single record. So I'm not taking that chance, dude.
No.
I'm not taking that chance.
I get that.
And I think his personality kind of fits it. He's this like homegrown kind of guy. He doesn't live a lavish lifestyle.
No, he wears a black tee every day.
Yeah, he would literally fight. He just fights because he wants to fight. So I don't think the money's an issue. But I'm sitting out.
He did say, listen, he said that he only wants big fights.
And he got a boxing license, bro.
Yeah.
I'll box. I'll go box until you guys put this dude in the fight.
Put Conor versus him in the boxing ring then.
I don't know. But listen, so with that being said,
who will win that fight?
That's a different show. It's a different show. But in boxing, Nick Diaz beats him. Yeah. Nick Diaz he's probably the best boxer in the UFC.
That's kind of how he beat him in the second fight. If that was strictly a boxing fight, Nate won that fight. But the thing is, Nate got knocked down. But I think 2 of those knockdowns, he looked like he was, I'm gonna get hit, so I'm gonna go down on purpose and try to bait him to go down on the ground. That's a different show.
Yeah. We just went over 209. It's this Saturday, UFC 209. Check it out, guys. You heard our predictions. If you guys want to join the conversation, feel free to let us know your predictions. You can follow me you can follow the show on Instagram at Pod Castillo. Jose, where can they find you at? I'll link it on the bottom of the video. Can you just spell it out to the people?
JRT's 523, Instagram, Twitter.
And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Jose's the type of person that, like, if you're a fan of the fight game and you just want to talk, he's very accessible. Hit him up. Reach out to him. Tell him, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
I love MMA.
And he would literally love that conversation. So reach out. Let's kind of build that community where we're just discussing fights. And listen, we're all fans of sports in general. So let's get that conversation started. I think, and I'm just gonna sum the video up, quickly. I think that it's crazy, and the landscape of the UFC and how it's going right now. Yeah, sure. WME paid a lot of money for this company. They paid over $4 billion for the company, and they want to make big fights. So unfortunately, the ranking system is kind of thrown out of the window now. But with that being said, you mentioned Damian Maia. We mentioned Khabib. We mentioned Tony Ferguson. Right now, there's no big names out there. There's no big names. Ronda's gone. Conor's having a baby. Mayweather's got the money bag going over his face, so he doesn't know if he wants to box. He has a lot of options. Brock Lesnar's not coming back; he just retired. John Jones is still not back. Cyborg is still not officially in the UFC.
Yeah, she's cleared.
I know, but I'm saying she's not, like, she hasn't really fought in the UFC yet, right? So like we don't know what's gonna happen there.
Well, she's fought
So
twice,
it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that they want to make big fights, but there's no big names. That's why that was such a reach getting GSP back. We want to see Nick Diaz come back. Yeah, it was perfect timing. But to sum it up, to kind of get my point across, either the fans need to get behind these people, or the UFC needs to just understand that the ranking system is what makes the UFC the UFC. That's why MMA fights don't like boxing. Boxers fight whoever. MMA is all about the best fighting the best. So like people like Damian Maia, people like Khabib, people like Tony Ferguson, they need to start getting respected. They need to. They need to. And that means that us as fans, we have to get behind them and kind of be their voice to push them and show the company, listen, I don't care if this guy doesn't know English. He's a great fighter. I want him to fight the best, and he deserves a title shot, whatever the case is. So it's kind of crazy how the landscape of the UFC is going to change, because it's not going to be like a kind of a cash cow driven enterprise anymore. I think it's going to be kind of like a homegrown type thing where these fighters are going to go through the ranks, and whether you like it or not, like T Wood, whether he likes it or not, he's going to have to fight these people.
Yeah.
And it is going to be a big risk, dude. You might have to fight somebody that has no name, but he's the number 2 fighter in the world, and you might lose, and you might not make as much money because he's not a huge name. But you got to give the guy a chance.
That's what makes it a sport, and that's what it's all about.
But I don't want that to be lost in the sport.
Well, I'm talking about the whole. Listen, you need to fight the best fighter.
Yeah.
So if you're the champion and the guy who's been on the tear like Wonder Boy was, that's why Wonder Boy deserves a shot. And now with the whole thing with Wonder Boy getting the title shot again, is because obviously the first fight was a draw. If either one of them would have won that fight, Maia would have gotten his title shot. That's why I think what would have happened. Even Willie said himself, he thinks Maia deserved the title shot over Willie. He thinks Wonder Boy should have stepped to the side and let Maia get the shot. But no.
As fans, we win because any of those fights would be good. They're all really good. So there you have it. There's our UFC 209 preview. We picked different people for the main event, so I'm hoping we could do a post show and see how it went. Like I said before, join the conversation. Feel free to join the conversation. You can join the conversation on YouTube. You can join it on iTunes. Hit us up on Instagram. Like I said, I'll tag everything in the video. And like I said, once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Jose, for joining the show today.
Always
thank you to the people for watching and supporting. I know a lot of the work lady has been done on Instagram, just joking around with like videos and talking all this different stuff. It's super fun. So like, if you guys are interested in that as well, join the conversation on Instagram. Leave a comment. And like I said, let's talk. I mean, the world of sports is so interesting and it's changing every single day. Why not, unwind from a hard day's work and just sit down, listen to a show, or, just talk sports with somebody else that shares similar interests with you. So, yeah, thank you very much to everyone for tuning in. UFC 209 this Saturday. Tune in. It's gonna be a great card.
It's gonna be a great fight.
It hasn't been promoted well, in my opinion, but it's gonna be a great card on paper. And like I said, if there was a card that you could use your money wisely on, I think that this one is pretty safe.
This has got something for everybody, I feel.
So with all that being said, thanks guys. Remember, subscribe to the show on YouTube at Pod Castillo. Subscribe on iTunes at Pod Castillo. Follow us on Instagram. And yeah, leave a comment, leave some constructive criticism, some positive feedback, negative feedback, whatever the case is. And yeah, we appreciate you guys joining us. See you next time. Peace.